This video contains spoilers for Master Keaton. It's absurd how much one single line from a work of fiction can completely flip your world upside down. Yet that is exactly what Master Keaton did to me in its final chapter, and through words that seem so simple. Now I have realized that everywhere I have been has made me who I am. This line is incredibly relevant at a thematic level and recapitulates the general message of the story. But at a personal level, those words truly shook me because they more or less summed up my life too. And they reminded me of who I truly am at a time where I think I really needed that reminder. I mentioned earlier in my review of the manga from last year that Master Keaton was effectively a story of identity and self-discovery. After all, Taichi is half British and half Japanese, constantly moving from career to career and from one place to another, still figuring out who he is even in his late 30s. And because of that, it was a series that deeply resonated with me because, like Taichi, I'm mixed race, I have multiple nationalities, I'm extremely interdisciplinary in my academic and professional interests, and I also constantly moved from country to country and from city to city growing up. And now, as of this past month, I have lived in 10 cities across 4 different continents, and that number is only going to grow in the coming years. Just reminiscing on that, I began to think about how proud I am of the very multicultural way that I've grown up. I was born in a country I do not hold nationality for, and I hold nationality for a country I have never even lived in. So whenever people have asked me where I'm from, I've always had a tough time answering them. There really isn't a short and simple answer that accurately reflects who I am. But my feelings towards my own personal identity only grew more fickle over time, not just because I kept moving from place to place, but also because over the course of the last year, I faced a number of difficult decisions concerning my future at a time where a very unfortunate sequence of geopolitical events unfolded. One day, a certain somebody decided that he wanted to try and colonize one of the countries I hold nationality for, and that day and the following months surrounding that fallout awakened feelings of patriotism in me that I never thought I had, making me second-guess everything I thought I believed in. And that second-guessing only became worse and worse as international geopolitical tensions continued to heighten. Growing up, this notion of being proud of one's nationality or proud of being from somewhere has always been incredibly foreign to me. I grew up going to school with peers who were all from different countries, oftentimes with those whose parents worked for the UN or some major international organization. And in international schools, you're taught from a very young age about the dangers and evils of excessive patriotism. In class, everyone's from everywhere, and at that point, you never come to see someone for the color of their skin or what country they hold a passport for, but rather who they are as an individual. And I've always been proud of having that worldview and for having grown up in so many different cultures. It's one of the reasons the pervasive humanism and cross-cultural representation in Urasawa's works has always resonated with me so profoundly. His stories follow people from all around the world with all kinds of different backgrounds, and that's all the more reason this new sense of patriotism really bothered me deep inside. Ultimately, I ended up dealing with these sorts of thoughts for a good couple of months. But for a previous video of mine, I had to reread some of the last few bits of Master Keaton, and when I was doing so, I came across that one line from the final chapter again. And it hit me like a truck. Everywhere I have been has made me who I am, and now I am here. I reflected upon those words, and they gave me a lot of clarity about who I was and what I should be doing. In the context of the story, it's Taichi's own answer to his identity issues, being this wandering jack of all trades with so many different professions. Every country, every culture, every career, every experience he had made him into who he is. But for me, His words served as a reminder that the same is also true for myself as well. More than anything, I am a third culture kid, something a little bit easy to forget in times where national and ethnic identities are so prominently weaponized that people forget that they are first and foremost human beings before they are nationals of any particular state. Ultimately, that train of thought culminated in me deciding to move from where I previously was. I had the option of staying where I was for the rest of my life, and that would have been the easy way out, not just physically, but emotionally too, to stay with the familiar. But I think if I were to have done that, I'd have lost who I was. Taichi's words reminded me that I wasn't tied to any one country or city in particular. And for what I want to do in the long run anyways, it actually makes more sense to keep moving around, even if it's to places that others would frown upon me moving to. The way I see it, moving is a facilitative step to achieving my life's dream. And at the end of the day, it's just in my DNA to keep moving, to connect with others from different backgrounds and different walks of life. And I can't afford to let geopolitics interfere with who I am and interfere with what I believe in. It is extremely dangerous to feel excessive pride in where you're from, to feel excessive pride in one's country, or to feel excessive pride in a nation's military actions. And I hate that geopolitical circumstances nearly led me astray. I'm a third culture kid, and for the time being, I will keep moving from place to place, just like Master Keaton. I know this was probably not a video a lot of you could relate to, but I wanted to share my story in some form, so thank you for listening to me. Please let me know how you felt about Master Keaton and its ending in the comments. For a mostly episodic series, the last few parts of the story were really like an entire arc of its own, but a very cathartic one nonetheless, with Taichi achieving his dream of proving the existence of the ancient civilization at the basin of the Danube River, and him coming to understand his own identity all the same. Every prior story in Master Keaton had its own message about dreams, humanism, and universal love. And the way it ended truly felt like a grand culmination of all those ideas. Gosh, I love Master Keaton. See you around, everyone.